Hello everyone, my name is Dere Albertqıza. I'm a teacher in College Adlet. Today we are going to learn about reported speech. There are two types of speech, direct and reported speech. Direct speech when we say the exact same words that other person said, whereas the reported speech, we change it. For example, I'm tired, Helen said. This is the direct speech. We put quotation mark, and then Helen said that she was tired. That is the reported speech. So what did we notice from that sentences? The verb said. This is the verb that we call as reporting verb. There are other reporting verbs like tell or ask. They are the mostly used ones. For example, he said that he wanted to marry me. He said to me that he wanted to marry me. Notice that we can use it in either way. But he told me that he loved me. We don't use to here. Reporting verbs say and tell. With tell, we need to use the direct object as me, you, us. John told me that he was going to be late. With say, we can or can't use the direct object. John said that he would be late. Or, John said to me that he would be late. So, with say verb, we can use it in either way. But with the verb tell, we need to use the direct object. Here is the example of other reporting verbs that we mentioned. He decided, he affirmed, he exclaimed, he explained, he confessed, he asked, he questioned, he wondered, he inquired. Rules that we must know to change sentences from the direct to indirect speech. First of all, personal pronouns change. We change pronouns I to he or she, you to I, he, she, you, they. He, she, it, they stays the same. We change to they stays the same. For example, I want to go home. He or she said he or she wanted to go home. You need to study. She told me I needed to study. We want some fruit. He said they wanted some fruit. In reported speech, we need to change the pronouns that we already mentioned. In possessive adjectives, we usually change the pronouns, as you saw, from first and second person to third person pronouns. However, we don't need to change the first person pronoun I when the speaker is reporting his or her own words. Here is the full list of changes of pronouns from direct to indirect reported speech. You can screenshot it if you want. The second important change that we have to know is the verb tense change. The reporting verbs say, tell, or others can be in present or future or in the past form. If it's in the present or future form, we don't change the tense. If it's in the past form, we change the tense one tense back. Here is the examples of not changing tense in reported speech. He thinks he loves her. I'll tell her you're coming. He has said he'll do it. As you can see, the verbs thinks, loves, tell, coming, has said, will do are all in present, future, or present perfect tenses. Here is a reminder. When we are reporting things that are always true, like laws of nature, we don't change the tense even when the reporting verb is in the past tense. The verbs said and sold in these examples. He said that the water boils at 100 Celsius degree. I told her you're always late. They are in the past tense, but the verbs boils and are in the present because the laws of nature. In other cases, if the verb is in the main sentence is in the past tense, the other verbs are usually in one of the past tense too. Here is a table of how we change direct speech into indirect speech. As we already said, one tense back. First of all, present tenses. From present simple we change to past simple. From present progressive, or you can say continuous, we change to past progressive. From present perfect, we change to past perfect. Present perfect progressive to past perfect progressive. Second one, past tenses. From past simple, we change to past perfect. From past progressive, we change to past perfect progressive. Past perfect stays the same. Third one, future simple. From future simple to future in the past. From future perfect to future in the past perfect. Here is an in-depth example of how we change the verb write from present to past and from future to future in the past. First of all, from present simple write to past simple wrote. From present progressive am writing to past progressive was writing. From present perfect have written to past perfect had written. From present perfect progressive have been written to past perfect progressive had been written. From future simple shall write to future in the past should write. From future progressive shall be writing to future in the past progressive should be writing or would be writing. From future perfect shall have written or will have written to future in the past should have written or would have written. From future perfect progressive shall have been writing or will have been writing to should have been writing or would have been writing. Here are the examples in sentences. From present simple, I phone my friends every day, to past simple, she told him that she phoned her friends every day. From present progressive, I'm waiting for Kate, to past progressive, he said that he was waiting for Kate. From past simple, I made it yesterday, to past perfect, he said that he made it yesterday. From future simple, I will study better, to future in the past, he said that he would study better. From present perfect, I've been to France 3 times. To past perfect, he said that he had been to France 3 times. Okay, we already know how tenses change. Now, the question is, how do we change modal verbs in reported speech? For example, can, we change to could, that we change to had been able to. Be to, we change to was or were to. May, we change to might. Have to or must, we change to had to. But here is the note. Modal verbs could, would, might, and should do not change. The third important change that we have to remember is the change of time words. From this to that, from these to those, from now to then, from today, that day, yesterday to the day before, tomorrow to the next day, ago to before, next year, the following year, last week, the previous week, here to there, the day after tomorrow, 2 days later, in 2 days' time. We learned how to make reported statements. Now moving on to making reported questions. Examples. In direct speech, he asks, Pete, will you go to the disco? The verb asks is in the present simple. That's why we don't change the tense in reported speech. He asks Pete if or whether he will go to the disco. You see, we use the if or whether instead of question. Next one. In the past simple, he asked, Pete, will you go to the disco? Here, our reporting verb is in the past simple. That is why we change the tense. He asked Pete if or whether he would go to the disco. You see, we change the will to would. Moving on to special WH questions. These are the question words like what, when, or where. Direct speech, he asks, where do you go every day, Pete? In direct speech, he asks Pete where he goes every day. The special question where we didn't change, it's still here. The thing that we change is the order of the words. Like the subject pronoun, in this case, he comes first and then the verb goes. Usually in the question sentences, the verb comes first and then the subject. But in this case, in direct speech is like a statement. Direct speech, he asked, where do you go every day, Pete? In direct speech, he asked Pete where he went every day. Here is the same, but the verb we changed in the past simple because the reporting verb asked is in the past simple. Here is another table of special WH question. In this case, who. You can save it if you want. Okay, final piece of puzzle. Tense changes in comments. Direct speech. He says, go to the shop, please, or don't go to the shop. In direct speech, he asks or tells to go to the shop or not to go to the shop. Direct speech, he asked, go to the shop, please, or don't go to the shop. In direct speech, he asked or told to go to the shop or not to go to the shop. Here is the thing. In comments, we put infinitive to before the verb. And then, if it's a negative one, we put not to go to the shop. That's easy. Okay guys, here's the most interesting part. Let's try to practice reported speech with the help of politicians' promises. I'm going to improve the traffic in the city this very month. Sounds promising. 2 years later, what did he say? He said that. Let's complete the sentence with the reported speech. The answer is, he was going to improve the traffic in the city that very month. But as you can see, it didn't happen. Next promise. I will pay higher salaries. Really? 2 years later, what did he say? He said that he would pay higher salaries. Okay, the final promise. I'm going to clean up the parks this year. What did he say? He said that he was going to clean up the parks that year. Vote me Ugh, politicians. Okay guys, this is the end of our lesson. I hope it was really interesting and useful for you. Now you know how to change direct speech into reported. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.